Hello everyone, welcome to Cyber Ducky. Today we will check and learn Cisco commands. When we connecting two Cisco switches, by default it comes with dynamic desirable or dynamic auto. So let's explore this these settings in the Cisco switches. Then we'll see what is the best way to configure between two switches. What is the best option? Either we leave it as it a default settings or we need to modify. So let's look into that today. Okay, so let me show you my network setup. So I have 24 port 2 switches connected between gig 1/0/1 for both sides same. So let's look at the configuration. So this is switch 1 and this is switch 2. You can see here names. So let's log into one of these. Switch 1, enter, and show interface switch port. So what I'm talking about is this one. What you see here is dynamic auto. So both switch comes with by default is same configuration. So interface switch port. So sorry, this is the port we are working on, gig 101 and gig 101. So both are dynamic auto. So today we're going to test or check today is what we're going to check is that if both side is auto dynamic, is it going to build one trunk, or do we need to modify any of the configuration? So what we're going to look into is that if the switches are configured with dynamic auto and dynamic desirable, is it going to happen a trunk, or is it auto is trunk, dynamic auto and dynamic auto both side, is it going to become trunk or is it need to be hardcore trunk, so let's look into it today. So first we going to do here is we need to do is going to configuration and change one configuration. So I'm going to change switch 1 configuration to before we do that, let's see the command interface trunk. So if we have a trunk, it should show here. So let's see here also interface trunk. We don't have both sides. So now I go log into interface gig 101 switch mode. See, we have three options. Access port, which if you see here by default it's considered as access. I think it will say, somewhere. So yeah, static access. The operation mode is static access. So let's see that we have three options. One is dynamic mode, then we have trunk, and we have access. So if you change this to access, then we need to connect only to the end devices, or maybe like laptop, desktop, those type of devices. But if it is between two switches, it has to be trunk. Like if you put trunk here, and it's become hardcore trunk, meaning it is the best option and it should be the best practice as well. but we are just exploring the settings, so that if you're preparing for CCNA, CCNP, so you can learn something. That's why I wanted to show here, just to refresh things. So by default it comes with auto. So when we see here dynamic, when I type dynamic, I have two options, auto and desirable. So currently what we saw here is it's both are dynamic auto. So both are dynamic auto, it doesn't build any trunk. So I'm gonna change to dynamic desirable. Okay, so when I change dynamic desirable, immediately port went down and comes up both sides, switch 1 and switch 2. So now if I go and see trunk, yeah, automatically it's become trunk. So if I go back again and change to auto, okay, switch goes, port goes up. Here I don't see anything, it's gone. So what we learn now is that if both sides are switch mode dynamic desirable, auto, it means by its default configuration and switches doesn't become trunk. Let's change both side auto. Let's say let me shut down here. I shut down the port, both side down. I go into here, interface gig 102 101, sorry 101, then switch port mode dynamic auto. So if I already changed the switch 2, I changed to dynamic, sorry, my mistake, should be dynamic desirable, my mistake. Auto to desirable. So I'm changing desirable on switch 2. Switch 1 is show interface, switch port, it's auto. So I'm going to change that one also desirable. So both sides will be desirable. Let's see. Interface gig 101, switch port mode dynamic desirable. But I shut down the port here, so let me go and interface switch port. Okay, so now this configuration has changed from dynamic or desirable, this side also dynamic desirable. So both side dynamic desirable. Let's see whether trunk forms or not. Okay, I go inside this interface, no shutdown. Yes, what we see here is it's becoming trunk. Show interface, yeah. So what we need to take note here is that if both ports are in dynamic auto, it doesn't form any trunk, but both sides are dynamic desirable, then it forms a trunk between the both switches. But one side is auto and one side is desirable, also the port become trunk. And the third option, what we're going to do is the best practice. Best practice is, before we change, let me see, I'll show you this error message as well. Switch port mode trunk. Oh, I think somehow it doesn't give me any error today. Yeah, so trunk. So this one, if I go here, show interface, switch port is mode change to administratively trunk. So this is like a hardcore saying, okay, this port is trunk. Nobody disconnect, connect, it doesn't matter. It always behave like a trunk. And this side, show interface switch is desirable. So if it's still desirable. So this is desirable, this side trunk, I think it's showing trunk here. Yeah, so it's just trunk, but the best way you do both sides mode trunk. Reason being is that it's very simple, show run interface. I think show run both sides have hardcore mode trunk, so this way that no matter what changes happen physically, maybe somebody remove cable, plug, maybe even if somebody connect another device endpoint, it doesn't change. So in network it's always better to keep everything physical, like a static configuration, because auto sometimes not good. So that is the lesson today. So what we have learned today is that we need, if such what we have learned today is, if interface is dynamic, make auto both switches dynamic auto, trunk doesn't happen. But if one side is dynamic desirable and one side is dynamic auto, the trunk will form. But as a best practice is always to be the mode or the settings should be always trunk both side, so that's way it's more safer. So that's the thing we need to learn. We need to get to understand from this video. And I hope you guys learned something today, and please if you have any questions, please put in the comment and feel free to reach me through the comments. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe, and I'm willing to accept your comments and feedbacks so that I can improve more and put more frequent videos. And if you are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.